LVIGISPQR. I'm guessing this might be like a Russian thing or a brand. I don't know. But he or she has 2 comments. I doubt it though. I think if it came down to a life or death fight, both you men would win even against a female MMA fighter, just based on the mechanics of nature and a male body versus a female. You I kind of like half agree with you. I think you have a point. In a life or death fight, it's definitely going to up the ante some, and technique's going to go out the window to a certain extent. But I'll use Ronda Rousey again as an example. Ronda is a judoka, so she is an expert at basically using someone's greater size and higher center of gravity against them. So if I got too close to her, she would end me. Now, again, I'm not going to make it easy for her, but it's by no means impossible. And unfortunately, fortunately, you would never know the end result without that playing out. And if it's life or death, I mean, if there happens to be a tree branch or a rock nearby that's advantageous to me, yeah, the whole equation changes.
Yeah, I think the levels of adrenaline would be different too, and would probably change things a bit. I don't want to say that I could beat someone like Ronda Rousey, because I seriously doubt that I could, but it would definitely increase my chances of beating a higher number of well-trained women. Penn and Teller did a great bullshit episode about martial arts, and I'm pretty sure it was in that. But what it came down to in a lot of cases was who was the bigger, stronger opponent, not how well-trained they are. And that was men against men and whatnot. So the real factor was, are you fighting someone who is doing everything in their power to resist you? And if your martial art can prevent someone who is doing that from doing that, then you have a good martial art and you'd be able to stop that person. But again, that whole, I'd like to think I could beat most women that are in martial arts, but I don't know.
There's one caveat there, because I also am a big fan of Penn and Teller bullshit as a series. I wish they would bring it back. But when they did that episode, this was kind of, I don't remember the year. I think this was kind of before, like, mixed martial arts was around, but it was not as it was not as ubiquitous in the everyday martial arts community. Like, for example, I train in Krav Maga, which the whole point of Krav Maga is A, anybody can do it, and B, it does its absolute best to take size and stature out of the equation, but we admit it's a factor. For example, if I'm squaring up with a dude that's 250 pounds and 6'6", I'm probably going to get my ass kicked, so I should leave. But if I'm in a situation where I have no choice, I am given some tools that may or may not work, but it's better than nothing.
Yeah.
Now, that being said, I think the only fault in their example is that, yes, with a lot of traditional martial arts, when it really comes down to pressure testing, with the exception of maybe like really hardcore trainers of kickboxing and Muay Thai, taking MMA and things like Krav Maga out of it, with traditional martial arts, when it's pressure tested, it usually crumbles. And that happened to me because I have a secondary black belt in Taekwondo, and I apologize to the TKD community out there, but it's useless in a real fight. It's absolutely useless. And I know this because I literally got thrown around like a rag doll, and that's when I switched to Krav Maga.